Good morning, everyone. Happy Saturday. So glad you're here. Shanti just apparently is going to be up close and personal with you today. Welcome to our new Yoga and Beer channel. I hope that you were able to find it easily enough. This is where our live streams will be. Good morning, Ruth. This is where our live streams will be for the foreseeable future, as long as we're doing these live streams now, which will be nice because it won't be Seville talking as Mikki and Jamie talking as Mikki. We can all kind of get our own space here. So welcome to this channel. This is Shanti in the foreground. If you've not met Shanti before, I don't know what she's doing this morning. I'm Mikki if you've not practiced with me before, and this is going to be our, standard Saturday morning space to breathe. Good morning, Sarah. Glad you're here with us. That time, I think about my yoga practice sometimes, my meditation practice, really anything you do for you. It doesn't have to be yoga or meditation. Shanti, you're being so weird today. Shanti, come here. Anything that you do as sort of your pause in life, whether that's working out, whether that's reading books, whether that's playing with your dog, as that pause and that rest that allows you to then go further. I think about it like a hike. I was thinking about this morning as I was kind of thinking about what I wanted to talk about in class. Like if you've ever done Dog Mountain, I know some of you are way more intense hikers than that, but that for me is like a big one. And it's just straight uphill, and the whole time you're like, oof, and then straight downhill. And then once you're going downhill, you wish you were going uphill because it's actually worse. But in those moments where you're like, I just can't go on, I'm so tired, if you just pause and take a rest, you can then get to the top and finish your hike. And that for me is often my time on my mat, right? Just that time to press pause and to rest for a little bit so that then you can go further and accomplish what you need. So sometimes that looks like movement. Sometimes it looks like stillness. Sometimes that looks like a fiery practice. Sometimes that looks like a really still kind of long hold practice. All of that to say, this is your time to push pause and to rest for a bit this morning. And so as we move and as we breathe, just giving yourself exactly what you need today so that you can go further when you're done. All right, let's see. Good morning, Jan. Yeah, Shanti's being weird today. Hi, are you okay? All right, we are getting started on our bellies today, something different. If you do want some music for your class, the playlist is in the description of class. It's also up top in the chat. So coming down, I'm sorry, Shanti, you're gonna have to dismount. Coming down onto our bellies, let's create a little pillow for your forehead with your hands. And I just like to stack my hands. I'm not sure I'll be able to do this with the microphone on, but I'll show it and then you can settle in. You're going to put your forehead on the back of your hands there and just let those elbows go wide. Let your pelvis and your belly really settle onto the ground. And if your pelvis, if your hip points are really pressing into the ground today, you might grab a blanket or something soft to push or to press beneath or place beneath your pelvis. And just let your legs kind of settle without really any intention or activation right now. And let's take a big full breath in. Feel your belly press down into the ground. And then let your belly empty and hollow out. And just start to find your breath here. And with your body positioned belly down, your head, your eyes facing the floor, just sort of feel this drawing inward that cuts off and cuts out all of the stimulus from outside this morning. All of the hamster wheels that you've been on this week. And regardless of what remains, regardless of what still is kind of waiting for you off your mat, in this moment, in this time, can you press pause? Even if you feel, and maybe most importantly, if you feel like you don't have time for it. even if you feel like you have 100 things you need to solve and accomplish or reason out. Can you give yourself the time to rest, to pause, to recharge, so that then you have a greater capacity to handle all of the things with a clearer mind after your practice? Let's take 3 more really full breaths here, and I just want you to really feel that breath in your low belly and your low back here. And then we're going to take your right leg and just begin to lift it up and reach it back. I always think of like go-go gadget here, as though that leg could just extend longer and longer and longer out of your body. And then put that right foot back down. Let's do that same thing with the left leg. Just lift it up. It doesn't have to be a super high lift, just a little lift off the ground, and then feel that length all the way back through the leg, sort of like a good morning to all of your leg muscles. And then put that leg back down. Let's do each leg one more time. Right leg lifts. And let it come back down. Left leg. And let it come on down. And then let's take both of your feet, press them down into the floor, the shoelace part of the foot pressing into the ground. Uncurl all of your toes. Let all 10 toes really press into the floor, even that little baby toe. And see if your baby toe and your big toe can equally root into the floor. And then begin to engage your quads. Feel the front of your thighs engage so that your knees are efforting or maybe even lifting off the ground. Feet are down, quads are down, knees are gently elevated. And just start to breathe into that stability there, that stability that comes from the activation of the legs, what that creates for your low back, but continue to feel your breath fully in and out of the belly. And then we're just going to start to push the ground away with your arms. Bring your elbows under your shoulders. Let the forearms come to parallel for Sphinx pose. But as you get up here, try not to just let those legs get floppy and heavy. I want you to try to keep some of that activation you've begun to create in those legs. And then you'll let your chin come on down toward your chest. As your chin goes down, let your shoulders draw down and back. And then go ahead and roll your right ear over to your right shoulder. As you do that, push down and away from you a little bit more into that left elbow. It's really subtle. And then chin to chest. Left ear to left shoulder. Do that same thing. Root into that right elbow and push down and away from you just a little bit more. Notice if your legs have started to get a little floppy and sleepy. Keep them active. And then chin to chest. And go ahead and float your head up on top of your spine. Now, instead of a roll of ear to shoulder, we're going to turn your nose and gaze toward the right, looking over your right shoulder. Keep pushing down equally into your 2 elbows, and let's bend your left leg. Reach up through those left toes like you could touch the ceiling, but let your pelvis be equally heavy on the 2 sides. Keep that right leg gently active. And then let that left leg release back. Let the head come back to center. And then we'll do that same thing on the other side. Gaze turns toward the left. Equal effort down into your 2 elbows. And then let's bend your right knee. Toes reaching toward the ceiling like you could touch it. Shanti's showing us what Saturday morning could look like for you if you just want Savasana today. All right, head back to center, leg releases back. One more full inhale here. Let the shoulder blades melt down the back just a little bit more. And then let those elbows spin out. Come on back down to the belly. Slide your hands down beside your side ribs. Let's push into hands and knees and come on up into table. Now, as you find that table shape, wrists below shoulders, knees below hips, we'll take a little bit of a side-to-side movement of your head and your hips. So head and hips go the same direction. Hips to the right, head to the right, and then hips to the left, head to the left. And they'll actually want to go opposite directions if you're not really intentional about it. So head and hips moving the same way. So one side of your waist is really elongated as the other is shortened. And then we'll bring it back to center and start to go through our cat-cow, moving front to back now. Inhale, belly down, head and heart lifts, cow pose. Exhale, round your spine into cat. Back and forth here a couple times, belly down, head and heart lifts. And this morning, as we move through this, I want you just to feel that connection of the top of the feet we started to build when we were down on our bellies. Now with maybe a slightly greater awareness of what the effect is of how your feet touch the ground on your shins and on your knees. So I want there to start to feel like there's an awakening on the inner and outer shin, the inner and outer thigh, so that the knees and the pelvis and the hips are all nice and stable. We're going to take one more cow here, and then as you find this cat, let's press all the way back to child's pose. Knees can stay hip width or they can go wide, whatever feels good in your body there. Forehead to ground, or maybe again, you stack those hands, forehead on the back of the hands. Now this pose is here for you at any point in your practice that you need it today. It's never a bad time for a child's pose, except maybe in the middle of a meeting at the office or something like that. But never a bad time in your yoga practice for a child's pose. Let's take one more really full intentional breath into your deep, deep low back, your deep low belly here. We'll crawl your hands back forward and come on up into table. As you find this table, let's take your right leg, begin to extend it back. You can have toes on the ground if you'd like, or if it feels nice today, you can float that leg up. You might even take it a little higher, like you're trying to touch the sky. And then option to also take your left arm forward and maybe a little up. As you exhale, we're going to bring knee and or elbow in toward the belly, round your spine. And then inhale, elongate, hand forward, leg back. Let's do that 2 more times. Bring it in as you exhale. Get long and maybe lift up with the hand and the foot as you inhale. And then 1 more time, bring it in. And get long. And then hand and shin come on down to the ground. Let's tuck your toes under, float your knees an inch, finding table. Spine nice and long, tailbone lengthening back, crown of head lengthening forward. Let the back of your neck be long. And then let the knees come back down. Untuck your toes, press into the tops of the feet. Left leg back, toes on ground or toes leg hovering, whichever feels best this morning. Option to take your right arm forward. As you exhale, we'll bring arm and or leg in toward the belly. And then inhale, elongate. 2 more, bring it in. And reach. 1 more time, bring it in. And reach. And then hand comes down, shin comes down. Tuck your toes, float your knees, floating table. Couple breaths here. The good thing about practicing at home is no one knows if your knees are actually off the ground or not, except for you. So you can always keep them down. And then pressing back through your thighs, let's start to take those hips up higher, downward facing dog. Let your heels lengthen down toward the ground any amount. And we're going to pedal the legs out here today, but perhaps with a little sass to your hips. So as you bend your right knee, let's point it over toward the left and really press back through that left hip. That's the spot. And then let's switch. Bend the left knee, right leg straightens, and point that left knee over to the right. The other good thing about these practices from home, especially on Saturday morning, is I just get to dish out what I need. So we're going to do that side to side here. You can keep the pedal really unsassy if you like it a little bit more just straight on. If that sassy feels good, just catwalk your pedaling legs here in your down dog. Let the head hang heavily. 1 or 2 more breaths here. And then let's bring it back to center. 2 long straight legs, heels pressing toward the ground. Give the head a little nod and a little shake. And then let's walk your feet forward to your hands. Bend your knees when you need to. And once your ankles are below your hips, just allow the pelvis, the spine, the head to completely release toward the ground. Nothing to prove here, nothing to accomplish. The straighter your legs are, the closer you are to touching your toes. Honestly, nothing else has been accomplished. Just let the knees bend, let your spine drape, let the hands be wherever they need to be. And try not to judge or critique anything about your shapes and your body as you move through this practice this morning. Moving in your brain from that place of kind of judgment and evaluation that we tend to spend our lives in, and more just into an observation place. Let's bend your knees a little bit more. Roll up all the way to standing. And at the top there, let the head roll on top of your spine. Let your hands reach up to the sky. Let's pause here for a moment. Maybe you close the eyes. Imagine you're hanging from monkey bars or a pull-up bar. And then palms pressed together overhead. And exhale, hands down into your heart. Let's keep your hands where they're at. Right foot's going to stay. Let's simply take your left leg back this morning into a crescent lunge. As you find that lunge, we're going to put a little bend in the back leg. So you'll want to keep that heel up and right above the toes as opposed to angled. So the knee goes straight down, and then we'll straighten that back leg. We're going to do that 2 more times. Let's go maybe exhale, bend. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, bend. Inhale, straighten. We're going to keep that leg really strong, really powerful. Let's take these prayered hands, lift them up toward the top of the head, bring your elbows in close, and then drop those hands down behind your neck, behind the upper back, perhaps. Keep those elbows hugged in nice and close. And then instead of letting the spine turn into a huge banana here, I want you to do your best to just kind of knit those low ribs together. Draw your belly button back toward the spine so that you're doing your best to keep a pretty neutral back. And it's shoulder mobility here that is taking those elbows and arms up and back. And we'll reach your 2 hands up to the sky. Let your 2 hands come down around your front foot. We'll step your left foot forward to meet the right. Inhale, let's drag your fingers up the shins, halfway lift. Exhale, bow forward. Soft bend to your knees. Let's rise up, reach up. Palms together And exhale, hands down into your heart. Pausing for a full breath here. Honoring this practice with all of your presence, all of your heart. And then keep your hands where they're at. Right leg steps back. Finding that crescent lunge. Make sure the ankle and the knee haven't moved diagonally at all. And then exhale, we'll bend that back leg. And inhale, straighten. 2 more times, bend. And straighten. 1 more time, bend. And straighten. Keep that back leg strong and powerful. We'll take your 2 hands up above the crown of the head. Elbows stay nice and close. Maybe you drop those hands down behind the head and neck. Good stretch, Shanti. And just removing really subtly and compassionately the arch out of the back here. Keep a little awareness of core, of belly, those low ribs knitting, but still with space to breathe. 2 hands up to the sky. 2 hands down around your front foot. We'll step right foot forward to meet the left. Halfway lift as you breathe in. Exhale, fold. Root into your feet, rise up, reach up. Exhale, hands to heart. Full breath in here. Full breath out. Inhale, hands go skyward. Exhale, let's fold. Halfway lift as you breathe in. Exhale, we'll fold. Let's step your left leg back. Keep that back heel off the ground. We're going to bring your right hand onto the top of your right thigh, and then we're going to start to push down into that right hand so much that left hand floats off the ground. Keep pushing down into your right thigh, and let's reach your left hand way forward, up, and maybe a little back. That right hand needs to slide up higher so you can continue to get a good push down. Just make sure the hand is wherever you can really actively push down into that thigh. And then we'll take that left hand back forward and down. Right hand outside, the right foot on the floor. Let's step back any way that works for you. Downward facing dog. You are always, always invited to stay here. You also have that child's pose option is a good place to be. If you want to keep moving, inhale, plank. Let's take knees to the ground for this first round. Elbows point straight back as you lower. Untuck your toes. Press into the tops of your feet. Hands are by your side ribs for baby cobra. Let the heart lift. Hands can pull back, but don't push down. So pulling back to get that upper back to activate. And then let's take our Locust Cobra hybrid today. So you're going to keep your hands where they're at. Begin to float your feet up off the ground. If when you lift those feet, it's too much, then just bring the feet back to the floor. Keep those legs nice and active. And as those feet float up off the ground, do your best to not use the outer butt to lift the legs, but the under butt, the top of the hamstring, the bottom of the glute. Feet to the ground, keep those legs active, forehead to the floor. Tuck your toes under, press into hands and knees, come up, table, and downward facing dog. When you're ready, we'll take left leg, lift it up and back. Foot forward between your hands. As many steps as it takes. We're going to take your left hand onto the top of that left thigh. Push down until your right hand floats. Keep pushing down as you take that right hand forward and up. Maybe a little back. Shift that left hand wherever you need to place it. And then right hand goes forward and down. Left hand to the floor. We'll step feet together, front of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Root into your feet. Rise up, reach up. Exhale, hands to heart. Inhale, hands go skyward. As you exhale, let's bring your left knee up into your chest. Reach down, give it a squeeze. And then inhale, hands go up, foot to the floor. Other side. Exhale, right knee in. Inhale, release. Exhale, left knee in. Inhale, release. Right knee. Release. We're going to do each side one more time. So left leg comes in. And release. Right knee comes in. And release. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. We're just getting all of the heads of my animals in the foreground today. Here's Musketeer. Exhale, fold. We'll take your right leg back first this time. Left hand on left thigh. Push down until that right hand floats. Right hand goes forward and up, maybe a little bit back. And then let's slide that left hand all the way up into the hip crease. Push down as you start to reach that right hand forward. The whole torso leans. Keep pushing down into that hip crease, the top of the femur bone. You can be pretty vigorous with that push. And then we're going to take that right hand outside the left leg. Now, some of you will stay pretty high up here, the hand outside the knee. If you feel good about sliding that arm down, there you go. You can keep pushing the hand down into the thigh, or you can open that left arm up toward the sky. You can high five your yoga buddy if you're in the room with someone. Air high fives for all of you. Spirit fingers if that's your your cup of tea. Brian and I were cleaning the shed the other weekend, and I legitimately found our spirit stick from high school and all of my pom-poms. All right, let's slide on out. 2 hands to the sky. Hands around your front foot. And step it back. Downward facing dog. Big full breath in here. Maybe you need some stillness. Maybe you need to back off for a bit. Or maybe you need that movement, that vinyasa. Next inhale, plank. Knees up or down. We'll lower all the way to the belly. Half locust, half cobra. So hands stay by your side ribs. Soft pull back of those hands. Maybe you walk your hands back just a tiny bit more. Feet can stay down and really active legs, or you can float those legs up off the ground. Try to keep your feet about hip width apart, which, especially for a lot of us women, is never as wide as we think it is. One more big breath in. Exhale, come on down. Tuck the toes. Either use the knees to press up to table or super active legs to press up to plank. And downward facing dog. Right leg floats, breathe in. Foot between the hands, breathe out. We come on up. Oh, no, we don't. Right hand on right thigh. Push down, reach that left hand forward and up. Maybe a little bit back. Feel that crescent arch. And then we're going to start to slide that right hand all the way up into the hip crease. Start to push down into the top of that femur. Reach forward with your torso in that left hand. And then begin to take that left hand outside your right thigh. Maybe you keep it up relatively high. Maybe you slide it down a little bit deeper. Keep creating space in that right hip and waist by that right hand pushing into the femur. And then if you can keep that work on your own without the hand, right hand to the sky if that feels nice for the T. We'll slowly untwist. Hands to the floor. We'll step your 2 feet forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Rise up, reach up. Exhale, hands to heart. Inhale, hands up. As you exhale, left knee comes in. Inhale, foot to the floor, hands to the sky. Exhale, right knee. Inhale, release. And then we're going to settle with this left knee hugged in. Couple breaths here. I'm going to take a drink of water. No, I'm not. Let the breath get nice and steady. Heart high, crown of head high. And then we're going to take that left leg, foot to butt, grabbing stretchy pants or ankle or foot. And we're not letting the knee go out to the side. We're not dancer posing, just foot pulled in, knee pointed straight down toward the ground. Little awareness of that low belly lifting, just like you're putting on a pair of jeans that's a little too tight. And let's maybe bring your right hand to your heart. Firm in through that outer right hip. And then let's release that left leg. We're going to step all the way back into your lunge. Crescent lunge, heel off the ground, 2 hands go up. And then once you're settled, we're going to lower your arms parallel to the ground. Palms turning to face each other like you're holding something between your hands. And then let's bend that right elbow, pull back like a bow and arrow. Inhale, right hand forward. Let's do that 2 more times. Exhale, pull back. Keep pressing back through that left heel. Inhale, hand forward. And then 1 more time, we'll bend that elbow, pull back. Option 1, stay here. Option 2, straighten your right arm back. And then option 3, with the bent elbow or with the straight arm, option to begin tipping right arm down, left hand up. If the elbow's bent, it'll be kind of like a bow and arrow shooting for the stars. That right hand is, or right arm is straight, right hand might reach for and or touch that left thigh. 1 more full breath wherever you're at. And then let your 2 hands come down around your front foot. And let's invite that front leg to straighten any amount. You might step your back foot in. You might put blocks under your hands. You might put hands on a bookshelf or a couch or a chair. But just allow the hamstring of that front leg to elongate. Some of you maybe roll up to the heel of the foot, toes pull back toward the shin. Those of you that know and prefer half splits, that would be a great alternative here. I'll demo it. Wherever you're at, 1 more full breath in. And then wherever you're at, we're going to make our way back into downward facing dog. Slow and steady with the breath. So however you want to get there, we're going to make our way down onto the belly once again. And as you get down to the belly this time, we're going to untuck your toes and we're going to take your arms straight forward. Forehead to the ground. Again, if pelvis doesn't feel comfortable flat on the floor, grab a blanket or something squishy to put beneath your hips, but not so squishy that it's like you're on a cloud. Still some substance and sturdiness to it. So as you inhale, we're going to take your right leg, lift it up and back, and your left arm. And then exhale, hand down, leg down. Other side, left leg, right arm. I'm going to lift my forehead for benefit of the mic, but try to keep your forehead down. Exhale, hand down, foot down. So we're going to alternate side to side here. The inhale to lift opposite arm and leg. The exhale to, with control, lower it down. Try not to push down into your head, so don't put force into the neck. And try not to take the lifted leg way out wide, so just try to keep it right behind the hip. Couple more side to side here. Let's do one more on each side. You'll end with a left leg, right arm lift. And then let's slide those hands back beside your rib cage. Press down into hands and knees or hands and feet. We'll come up through table or plank. And downward facing dog. From your down dog, let's inhale, bend the knees, lift the heels, look forward. With your exhale, you can walk, step, or hop. Top of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Rise up, reach up. And hands to heart. Inhale, hands reach. As you exhale, we'll bring your right knee down and up into your chest. Inhale, foot to the floor, hands to the sky. Exhale, left knee in. Inhale, release. One more time, right knee comes in. We're going to pause and hold this time. And then start to relocate that right foot to your backside. Grab on to stretchy pants, foot, or ankle, whatever works. And then do your best to not let it turn into a big arch. Try to keep your body just tall and neutral, that right knee pointed down, not out to the side. And bring your hand perhaps to the heart or the hip, whatever feels nice. You could also pat the top of your head and try to rub your belly, whatever you want to do with that hand. The places my mind goes on Saturday morning. We're going to release that right foot, step it all the way back into your lunge. Arms are going to go forward, parallel to the ground. As you exhale, we'll bend your left elbow, pull it back. Inhale, reach forward. Two more. Exhale, pull back. And reach forward. Try to keep that back leg active. One more time, we'll pull back. So you can stay here with elbow bent. You can straighten that arm back. With bent elbow or straight arm, you can start, if you want, to tip left arm down, right arm high. We'll exhale your two hands down around your front foot. Step it back, downward facing dog. Inhale forward to plank. Knees up or down. You have a couple breaths here. And then we're coming all the way down to the belly. Once again, we're going to take your 2 arms forward, legs back. You have the option to keep with that alternation of arms, so right leg, left arm, or as you inhale, arms up, legs up, maybe head up, you choose, and then exhale, lower back down. So we're not holding very long. It's just an inhale to lift, exhale to lower. How about 2 more rounds here? Slide your hands back beside your ribs. Press down, hands and knees or hands and toes, table or plank. Downward facing dog. From this downward facing dog, let's take your right leg, lift it up and back. Step your right foot forward between your hands. Ground your back heel. Let's come on up into warrior 1. So facing the front of your mat. Let's start to lean forward over your front thigh. Let your hands swing back. Stay long. So instead of kind of rounding forward, start to feel that line of plank. Just come up onto that right foot. Left leg is lifting. Try to lift from that same kind of under butt area. Maybe take your right arm forward. Maybe take that left arm forward. And then let's come into chair pose. 42 minutes into class, your first chair pose. You are welcome. Bend your knees, let your hips get heavy. And then let's bring your hands to the tops of your thighs, really high up into that hip crease, push down. Decompression for the low back here. And then let's go ahead and let those hands release back up to the ceiling. We're going to come into that right foot. Left knee comes up. Just let your hands stay lifted. And then sit down into chair. Right knee up. Sit back down. And one more time, left knee into chest. Let's reach down, grab onto shin or thigh. Give it a squeeze. And then foot to your backside. You can grab stretchy pants, ankle, or foot. Let's take right hand up to the ceiling this time. And let's push that foot into the hand and knee amount. Dancer pose. Without any kind of slingshot, we'll release, step it all the way back into your lunge. Hands to the ground. Back you go, downward facing dog. You've got a couple breaths. You can stay here, or we're just going to roll through kind of a traditional vinyasa, inhale plank. We haven't done many of those this morning. Knees up or down, chaturanga. Inhale, back bend of your choice, low cobra, cobra locust hybrid, high cobra, up dog, whatever feels nice. And back you go, downward facing dog. Home stretch here. This is our final round of standing postures this morning. Left leg goes up and back and steps forward between the hands. Ground your back heel, come on up. Warrior 1. Let's start to tip your torso forward. Let your hands reach back. Long back leg, long spine. You can stay here or shift up onto that left foot for warrior 3. Does not matter how high that back leg gets. Just make sure that you're lifting with the low glute and the upper hamstring. You can stay just like this or left hand forward. Stay just like this, or right hand forward. And then we'll sneak into chair. Hands to the top of the hip crease, press down. Feel that decompression for your low back. And then release, let those hands sneak back up to the ceiling. We'll bring left knee up, keep hands reaching up. And then step down, chair. Right knee up. And down. Left leg up. You get a bonus one. I started on the wrong side. Foot down. Right knee up. We'll stay here. Reach onto that shin or thigh. Full breath in. Foot to behind. Hold on in the way that makes sense. Left hand up and forward. And let's press the foot into the hand any amount. Dancer pose. Slow and easy. Release that right foot back. Hands around your front foot. Back you go. Downward facing dog. Inhale, plank. Exhale, chaturanga. Back bend of your choosing. And downward facing dog. We're coming all the way through to sit. So when you're ready, we're going to prepare to move forward. You can walk, step, or jump. And then lower yourself all the way down to the ground. Soles of the feet together, knees open. Just settle in. Try not to get distracted with watches and phones. Just drop in. Hold on to ankles or feet. Feel yourself returning to the floor. That energetic grounding of letting those hips be held by the earth. Let the legs just settle into the shape. They've done their work. Notice the mind's tendencies as we find stillness, as we know that we're nearing the resolution of our practice, to start to jump back off into all of the doing and the evaluating, judging, the problem solving, the worrying, the thinking. And try to stay here with the clarity and the simplicity, even if it doesn't necessarily feel really easy and good to sit here with yourself. The simplicity, the clarity, the presence of being with this breath in and this breath out. And instead of being the judge and the evaluator of what you feel and experience and notice here on the inside, just observe. Let's keep your right leg as it is. We're going to release that left leg out to straight. Take a little rotation toward your straight leg. And then let's walk your hands out any amount along the leg. If you're staying upright today to take care of low back or just because that energetically feels better, try not to lean into your hands, but they can guide and support a bit. We'll walk your hands back in if you're folded. And let's sneak that left leg back into that diamond shape. A breath or two back at neutral, at symmetrical. And then right leg releases out to straight, or whichever side you didn't do the first time. Little rotation toward that right leg. Stay upright if that's best for you today, or allow yourself to lengthen toward the foot. One more full inhale here. One more full exhale. Walk those hands in along the leg. One final time, bring that right leg in to bent into your diamond shape once again. We've got about 5 or so breaths here. You can stay tall for this final round in your diamond Baddha Konasana shape, or you can finally take that hinge and fold forward if that feels nice. Hands can continue to hold on to the legs. They can reach forward. They can just come softly in front of the shins. And walk your hands back in. Wherever you're at, hands to outer legs, help press those legs together. And let's ease, let's lower down on to your back. As you come down onto your back, let's bend your knees into your chest. Hold on to shins or thighs. You might even fully wrap your arms around the legs. And let's press your legs up into your arms down into the legs for just a moment. Let the back find a little bit more dropping into the ground, especially that low back. And then just fully release. And then let's do that one more time. Shins push up, arms resist down. If your hands are on the hamstrings, then same action, just different placement of arms. And full release. We'll take your 2 feet down to the floor, knees bent. Let's open your arms out into a T shape or a goalpost. We'll take right ankle on left thigh. And let your legs fall over toward the left. Sleeping pigeon twist here. So that right knee is gently moving away from your body. Sometimes it feels supportive, grounding to reach down with your left hand and hold that right ankle. And your gaze can be up, or you can turn your head to look toward your right arm. On a scale of 0 effort to 10 effort, let this be like a 3. Let your gaze come back up toward the ceiling. Let your legs come back to center. Nice and slowly, we'll switch sides, right foot to the ground, left ankle onto right thigh. And let your legs fall toward the right. Again, that left knee gently moving away from you in space. And your gaze, your nose might point skyward. It might turn toward the left arm. And if it feels supportive, if it's easy grounding, maybe your right hand reaches down and holds that left ankle. And then ease your head, your legs back to center. Let that left foot come on down to the ground, and let's crawl your 2 legs out to straight. Really take time to set up for Shavasana. You might add support, you might add coverage, you might cover your eyes or turn off the lights. Definitely don't run away from it if you have these last few minutes. You can take it traditionally on your back. You also roll over onto your belly and exactly where we started. Prone Shavasana can be very grounding for some. Belly down Shavasana. You could also come up to seated or really ultimately find any shape that allows you to be at rest here. The rest, the pause that allows you to go further and not necessarily to accomplish more, to do more, but to have more presence, more energy, more attention for what you value most in life. But here, right here, let there be rest. Allow yourself to inhale a little more fully, to exhale a little more completely. And if you find yourself needing more time here today, it's another perk of home practice. But if you are ready to begin that process of reawakening, just begin to gradually add small movement back into your body. Begin to add that steadiness back into your breath. And over time, without any rush, allow yourself to roll to a side and slowly, eventually up to a comfortable seat. As you find that seat, let your palms come together in front of your heart. Letting each and every breath throughout your day, throughout your weekend and your week ahead be a reminder to come into the moment here, right here. And to take those moments of pause and rest when and as you need them. Thank you all so much for practicing together this morning or whenever you're taking this class. Namaste. Thank you so much, everyone. I hope you got what you needed this morning. I appreciate you being here with us and moving over to this new YouTube home. Details are all the same. Thank you so much for your generosity and your support. It's helping to keep Yoga and Beer viable during this time until we can kind of be at our full normal class schedule again. So the information for the Venmo and PayPal donations is in the description of class. Thank you, Melanie. Really good to have you here with us this morning. This is my last live stream for a couple weeks. I'm taking a couple weeks off. So you'll see, thank you, Stephanie. See you tomorrow. You'll see a lot of Jamie and Seville's faces for the next couple of weeks, but we're continuing our every Saturday morning at 10 a.m. schedule and Monday night at 6 p.m. schedule. So look for that. And then I'll be back on the live stream. I think it's the 21st of November, that's Saturday. We are also adding that week Thursday morning on Thanksgiving morning class as well. I think we're going to do 9 a.m. So it's early enough for you to get your yoga in with your family near and afar, and then head off to Thanksgiving festivities. So look for that. Thank you, Lori. Appreciate you. Amanda, appreciate you as well. Thanks for being here. Nicole, see you tomorrow. Yay, Ruth. Thank you, Yulia. Glad to have you here with us. Take care of yourselves, everyone. Love on your people, and I will see you soon. Thanks, Mom. Love you. Have a wonderful Saturday and a wonderful weekend. Bye.